Welcome to Mi Escuela es Su Escuela. My school is your school. Montgomery College TV and radio program to inform the community. Today, before we start our program, I would like to share with you a couple of phone numbers. And these are numbers that I would like you to keep accessible so you can get assistance in the future. The main number for the response center at Montgomery College is 240-567-5000. The Office of Financial Aid is 240-567-5100. The number for Workforce Development and Continuing Education and English as a Second Language is 240-567-5188. I'm sorry, 240-567-5188. Please keep these numbers ready because they will be very useful in the future. We will try to also include in the program later on those phone numbers that you can have then and have access to them throughout the program. So today I have with me a guest. His name is Jackson Trana. He works for the Office of Admissions, and it's a pleasure to have him here. Welcome to the program, Jackson.
Thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure. So tell me, Jackson, you work for the Office of Admission. What exactly do you do? And what office is this?
I work for the Office of Admissions in the VA office for Montgomery College. I am one of the liaisons between Montgomery College, the veterans, and the Department of Veterans Affairs. So we make sure that we coordinate everything so the veterans can use their benefits, whether that be a post 9/11 bill, the Montgomery GI Bill, reservist bills, and things like that. So we make sure that we have clear communication, that the veteran understands what he's signing up for, what benefits he's going to get, and what the Montgomery College expects from the veteran, and what the Department of Veterans Affairs expects as well. So the TRI is a trilateral thing that we're trying to communicate across. So we make sure that we certify the veterans for their benefits, because if we don't, we have to certify them in order for them to get their benefits, their tuition paid for, if they get housing, if they get stipends for books, things like that.
So your position, it is great, is with the Office of Admissions, and you're the liaison. Do you help the veterans as well as people in military service?
Yes.
Active service?
Active service, most of them just pretty much do everything with their unit for active service members, but we do help them with that. We do their education plan. We assist with any counseling and things like that. But most of the times, in terms of them using their what's called federal tuition assistance, they will apply through their specific unit, whether that be with the Army, the Navy, or the Air Force. So each branch has their own process. So that's why they have to do with their military branch.
Definitely, I think it is important that you're there to help understand what the process is and what is it they need to do. When someone wants to would like to study at Montgomery College, do they have to go to the admission first before they see you, or they come to you first?
Well, they can come to me first in order for them to get their application fee waived. We only do that for military service members and our veterans. We'll waive the application fee. So there's no barriers to entry. Right, and that's what we want to minimize as many barriers as we can in order for more students to come to us. So then after that, they will go through the process like any other student would: testing, application, testing, counseling, and then registering for classes. After they register for classes, and they come back and see me again in the VA office, so then we can certify them for their benefits. We can review their classes to make sure they're in compliance with VA, with the Department of Veterans Affairs, and that those courses are applicable towards their degree, or that they are going to be applicable to wherever they're going to transfer to.
So practically, besides you being the liaison and the first point of contact for them, at the college. You also continue to provide assistance to these individual or persons while they're at the college.
Right. Yeah, because we have to do that because if, for example, if a veteran stops attending his classes, it has an effect on their benefits. So we need to make sure that they communicate with us and we're available, because anything that happens in terms of their enrollment, we have to report that to VA. It's one of the regulations. So if they stop attending classes, we will report it, and that may have adverse effects in terms of their benefits. So their benefits may get terminated if they stop going to classes and don't tell us, and we can't, and we find out at the end of the semester, and then they owe this money back to VA. And the Department of Veterans Affairs will then ensure that they get the money is paid back by either taking out of the sending them a debt letter and giving them a certain amount of time for them to comply with it. So there's a lot of regulations that we have to comply with, and we walk in a very thin line between minimizing as many barriers as we can to have our students enroll and making sure that we comply with all the rules and regulations for Veterans Affairs.
It does remind me something that I know that for any student who receives financial aid, obviously, if the student stop going to school, the financial aid stop. You know, it's similar.
It's
to that.
similar to that, yes. Yeah, like financial aid is because it's because we're Title IV school. The way it works, it's kind of similar, but VA has a little bit more leniency. But at the same time, when it's abused, they're very strict in enforcing the rules. So there's some flexibility, but when you try to abuse the program, you hit a brick wall, which is all the rules and regulations.
My next question is, how many? So, are you the only representative doing this? Are you the only person for the college?
No, I cover the Tacoma Park campus and the Germantown campus. Ms. Tuette Nugent-Jackson, she covers the Rockville campus, and she's been doing this for a long time.
So she's happy to have you helping with them.
So we cover pretty much all the veterans that we have, as many service members as possible. Currently, sometimes we have over 500 veterans that we certify for benefits in
1 year, or in one semester.
In one semester.
Wow.
So some of our students are returning students, so we can't get exact numbers on new ones because then it's repeated. So, we are a pretty big school in terms of veterans, and as you know, very big school in terms of overall students. So we provide this service for this specific population and try to help them with their processes as much as we can.
What will be the phone number in case somebody wants to get in touch with you, Jackson?
My direct contact number is 240-567-1495.
And what I will ask from you, listeners and people who are going to be watching this program on TV in the future, or also you can go on YouTube, and we're going to have those programs also available to you, is that when you call a Jackson, please leave your name and phone number very clear. And the other thing that I just thought about is this, that many times when people call our offices, they assume, because now the new technology is in place, that you call a number and that number appears on someone's phone. Many of us don't have the technology in our offices in which that number is going to appear, so it doesn't record it. I'm one who have this phone that it doesn't have a little window that is supposed to be. So when you call, please don't assume that your phone is going to appear or it's going to record somewhere. So make sure you leave your phone number clearly, because it's going to be, that is crucial. If Jackson is going to call you back with help, with assistance, it will depend on you leaving your name and your phone number, and also tell him why you call in and what you need, what kind of help you need. So going back to our interview, Jackson, let me ask you something. You said about 500 students, veterans, per semester. When they come to you, what kind of questions, what kind of needs do they have?
The initial one is an overall review and explanation of what the benefits are.
Yes.
Because every veteran gets a different benefit. They can get a different benefit, a percentage of a certain benefit. So we'll sit down with them, explain to them what the benefits are, what are the requirements in order for them to maintain those benefits, based on how many classes they're taking, what they will receive in terms of money, depending on the benefit that they're using. But then after that, it's pretty much I change my class. If they change classes, they drop classes, and then what impact that's going to have on their benefits. So that's the kind of questions we get initially. Afterwards, it's pretty much students, when they're changing their curriculums, when they're changing the program of study, then they'll inform us and make sure that we know what they're studying, because we have to report that to the Department of Veterans Affairs.
How often do you need to do this reporting, Jackson?
Well, we do it initially the first time at the beginning of the semester, or as prior to the semester as possible. But then we do it again after all financial aid has been posted. So any financial aid that comes in, any scholarships or things like that come in, then we go back in and report it again after classes have begun. So that way, in case there's any changes, students drop classes without telling us, then we'll see it there and then report it to the Department of Veterans Affairs.
When the student indicates, well, that he wants to study with us, with Montgomery College, then the payment comes directly to you, or goes to the applicant, the student applying to the college?
It depends on the benefit. The most popular one and the most used one now is the post 9/11 bill, which is the new version of the Montgomery GI Bill, and that pays the college directly tuition and fees. But the veteran also gets what's called a BAH, which is a basic housing allowance.
Oh, so it comes
There's two separate payments, one to the college and one to the student. So the college will receive payment after our second review, is what we will call it, where we will submit tuition and fees and any changes to the VA. The veteran receives their benefit for every 30 days of training. So if our classes start on the 26th of August, they will get the last 5 days of August, and then they'll get all of September paid at the end of September, which will be early October. So it pays, in military terms, it gets paid in arrears. So
okay, yeah. The student comes to study at Montgomery College, and you say you certify the students. So each one of the applicants has to be certified.
Yes.
And the student gets certified to study only for Montgomery College, or is certified, like I said, per life, as long as he goes to school. He get whatever he wants to study, because eventually it's going to transfer if he wants to go beyond the associate degree.
Right. Well, no, we only certify for Montgomery College because we work for Montgomery College. So as long as the student is here, we certify them for while they are a student at Montgomery College. And we do the certification every semester. So it's not a one-time certification where they come in, we certify them, and then they don't have to see us again. They have to see us every semester, because we have students who will start in the fall, continue in the spring, and then take a break in the summer and come again in the fall. And we won't know that they want to continue their benefits, or we don't know when they register for classes. It's impossible for us to track that. So they have to inform us that they have registered and that they want us to certify them.
Well, and it just occurred to me too that, for example, the active military may get a call to go out, the country, and so obviously.
So if, for example, if we have a service member that gets called to active duty,
Yes.
we have processes in place and appeals where we will make sure the documented is is done so it wouldn't affect your GPA, financial aid, or things like that. We have Montgomery College has processes in place to assist active duty personnel for that. So if they get called to active duty, of course they would be withdrawn from their classes, and then retroactively. But there's a process for that. They would have to provide the military orders, and then we will go through the processes along with them.
What are the most frequent questions that they come to you in the needs? You said that maybe is what is it that I need to do, and what is this? I have this package with me, and I don't know what it means and all that.
Right. So like I said earlier, it's pretty much just an explanation of the benefits, and then after that, we get questions regarding, I dropped this class, or I need to be certified. What happens if I do this? And it's on a case-by-case basis. So we have students. Each student has a file that we can look at and say, okay, well, you're taking a class that is not applicable, or you register, you drop this class, and this is going to affect, the payment the college is going to receive, and then you're going to have to do this, and we try to do that as much as we can for our students, as long as they communicate with us.
Where do you think the response center can provide information about specifically what you do, or do they need to talk to you or
they would have
the other representative?
They would have to talk to either me or or Ms. Tuet Nugent-Jackson, who's the other representative.
Yeah.
Because if they call the response center, they don't have as much information, so they'll refer them to us as much as possible.
Is there information on our website?
There is information on our website. It's under, if you go to montgomerycollege.edu and under the admissions tab, there's a specific
section.
There's a specific section of the website. It's called Military Communities, and it has that information on there.
Yes. So I would advise you listeners or people who are going to be watching this on TV to then go to Montgomery College website, which is www.montgomerycollege.edu. Go to I believe it's the second or third column at the base of the page.
It's the second one.
It's the second one.
Yes.
So if you go to that column at the base of the page, just look for the military community, you said?
Yes, military community.
And then you press that,
and then
and it's going to put you right, it's going to take you to where the information is. And obviously that's great for you to read, but if you need additional information that you may need, and I think you could. And it's always great to have a representative, somebody who's going to take the time to walk you through the process. And also, if you have additional questions, it's always really great to have somebody that you can go to and you can call, because I think to me it appears that you are doing more than just being the person that lays on. You work with it. You are with this particular student throughout all the time that the student is at the college.
Yeah, as long as they're a student here, we help them with as much as we can. In terms of Veterans Affairs, we walk them through the whole process in terms of what they would have to do. Now, it is up to the student to register for their classes and make sure they're following the curriculum. If they're not, we do enforce that they follow it. But we're pretty much with them until the first minute they walk and ask for us to certify them until they're actually graduating. So we've seen that progression. We also try to, if they want to transfer, if they are doing plans to transfer to a specific university, we try to follow their curriculum as much as possible for the university they're going to transfer to. So not only do we serve as liaisons, but kind of counselors for that specific population.
I was going to say it. I didn't want to call you a counselor, but
it's specifically tailored for them because of the benefits that they're using and the specialization of it.
Yeah. Do they want to study the similar, say they're veterans or they're active duty? Do they want to study something that is similar to what they're doing as they're serving, or what they did while they were in serving?
Sometimes they do.
Or they want to do a completely
It varies. It varies.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have students who want to pursue the same field because they love it and they want to go into it. For active military personnel, they'll take courses that to advance their career while they're active duty.
Yeah.
But in terms of the veterans, it varies. Some of them want to become police officers, and then they realize that that's not what they want to do after taking a few classes. So it's an exploration type, type of benefit where sometimes if you know what you want to do, it's great. Go straight into it.
Yeah.
But if you don't, it gives you that flexibility for you to be able to change and go into something in a completely different direction.
And I wonder, in your case, as a person who's the first point of contact when they come to the college and seeking information and help, does it help to have an applicant who already knows in which direction he or she wants to go?
It does. It helps because it makes it easier for us to kind of point him in that direction to make sure they either get into that job field or transfer that to that university that they're looking at, or to get their career done as quickly as possible. But if they don't, then that's what we're there for. We offer that flexibility. We'll offer that advice to let them know, hey, this is, if you don't know, go on this path, and then once you decide what you want to do, let us know, because we have to know to report it to VA and to make sure that they're following the progress.
Now, I think you probably already told me, but do they have to be full-time in order to get benefits, or they can study part-time?
It depends on the benefit that you're using. The Department of Veterans Affairs offers different benefits, but for some of them, they have to be full-time. For some of them, they don't have to be full-time. But now, the Department of Veterans Affairs wants students who are receiving benefits to go full-time, because then they will receive the full benefit. If they're going part-time, they receive a portion of the benefit. It's prorated. So it's more beneficial for a veteran to go full-time if they're using the post 9/11 bill, so then they can get the maximum benefit out of it in terms of housing, books being paid. It makes it easier.
How does it work for somebody? Obviously, are the benefits allocated depending where the person is a resident? So there is a resident of the county, or whenever they're coming from, or if they're coming from outside the county, or?
Well, the benefits are determined by the area where the college is. So in terms of housing, it's determined by the geographical area which we live in. It's based on the zip code 20850, which is the main campus, Rockville campus zip code. So housing is based out of that area, and as you know, housing in this area is pretty high. So the housing allowance is pretty high for students who go full-time.
It's a good benefit.
Yes.
So that is incredible to know, because so long I thought the benefit was only for tuition to go to college.
It's tuition, but they also get a portion where for only the post 9/11 bill, where the student will get a housing allowance, and then they will also get money for books, and it's specific. There's caps to everything, of course, but that's when veterans come in and they see us, we explain what those caps are, what those benefits are, and they have already been determined because they have already applied. They have already received something from VA letting them know what they're eligible for.
I just remember that you are, you work for Montgomery College for quite a while, and work in different capacity. You work for the Office of Admissions, and before then you work for the non-credit, the Workforce Development and Continuing Education. So that gives you a very wide knowledge of the college, and I think it's extremely helpful with what you're doing. Are you also assisting both the credit and the non-credit?
Yes. Well, I've also worked for financial aid, so I have that multiple capacity.
Yes,
but
that
yes,
is extremely helpful.
We help students for both credit and non-credit. But in terms of Veterans Affairs, there's very few programs through non-credit that are approved for benefits. So most of our veterans usually go through the credit portions in order for them to get their associate's degree or certificate, for them to get into the workforce. and we assist them with whatever it is that they want to do,
Yes.
and try to guide them in that direction, and explain how they can use a benefit for that specific program that they want to do.
So Jackson, if somebody comes, you have to do the admission process. They had to apply for admission. They had to take their placement test, and with the scores, if there is a student that may need to take some additional classes because the math is not there, the English writing component, will the veterans cover the benefits cover for the non-credit?
Yes, they will. Those are for VA purposes. Those are called prerequisites for anything. So they're prerequisites for English 101, like the English, the first English level is the prerequisite for English 101. So they will pay for courses that are considered prerequisites, and we go by what counseling goes by, and by by the catalog to ensure that they register for classes that are applicable. If it's a prerequisite for something, like, for example, you have to take a pre-chemistry class before you can take chemistry 101, then VA will pay for that benefit.
Well, that's fantastic, because then they know they don't have to pay out of pocket.
No, there's very few classes that if a veteran has a benefit that they will pay for out of pocket. Of course, there are some benefits where the VA pays the veteran directly, and then it's up to the veteran to pay the college back. But it's those programs are kind of being phased out as much as possible, because the wide success that the new Montgomery GI Bill has had.
No, that's incredible. That is this. I think it makes a big difference for everybody. That if there are benefits associated, then of course people are going to pursue education because there is funding there available. Right. The number to call you in case somebody needs to get in touch with you, Jackson?
My direct number is 240-567-1495. And
please remember, when you call Jackson, to leave your name and your phone number clearly, and also state the reason why you call in, and Jackson will return your call. And that's very important, because many times we don't get that information, and it's very difficult to get back to you. And we feel bad when that happens, that there are people that call me and say, just call the number that appeared on your phone. And I said, I don't have that capability. Right. My phone doesn't have that, so I can't call you. So please do that, and Jackson will call you back. The other thing is, too, that Jackson mentioned before, is that you can find information if you go on our website. And it's montgomerycollege.edu, and you go to the section at the bottom of the page. Is the second column from the left to the right, and is the section under admissions, and is military
community.
And that will give you some information that you can use. And I think it's tremendous when you have some preliminary information, and by the time they go to you, they have some understanding. Some understanding. But I think it's something else that you would like to add, Jackson, before we close?
I would encourage that any veteran who has prior military service, that if they don't know that they're eligible for benefits, to get in contact with us. Or if they want, what they can also do is apply for the benefits through the GI Bill website, which is gibill.va.gov. They can go on there and apply for their benefits online, and then VA will make a determination on what they're eligible for.
So, listeners, and you, the viewer out there, please remember that these are benefits that you cannot just let pass, because this is something that will help you get ahead and help yourself and help your family. Jackson can tell you that it's very important to continue with our education as much as we can. He works for Montgomery College, but he's also studying, and his goal is to get a
bachelor's degree in higher education administration.
And you go into your master's degree afterward,
yes,
I understand.
In the same field.
Yeah.
Yes.
So please, I always think it's great to have a guest that also it motivates me. It motivates all to continue making progress, getting ahead in life and getting your education. So please remember the numbers 240-567-5000. That's if you need information. Also 240-567-5100. That's the Office of Financial Aid. And the number that 240-567-5188 is the number for English as a second language and workforce development and continuing education. It has been a pleasure. Thank you so very much for listening and for viewing. Until next time, take care.